Hi everyone, and welcome to our final video on how to create our own version of PacMan on Scratch Junior. So basically with this tutorial I'm going to be using some of the codes from the other games that were created, and we're going to put those codes together to create the Scratch Junior version of PacMan. So open up our app, we'll go into home like we always do. We'll start a new project, and today I'm going to get you to create the pages first, or the different slides, and then we'll get into putting more of the codes and details of the sprites into each one. So we're going to delete the cat. We're going to make this first page black, so we're just going to go near the ABC in the center of the page, and we're just going to create a black background. But with that black background, we're also needing a little control panel. So I'm going to go into this box maker, and I'm going to select white, and just at the bottom on the left hand side we're just going to create a little square, and we can fill that in with white. Give that a tick. The next one, it's just going to be plain black, so we're going to delete the cat, and we're going to go up to the photograph next to ABC in the middle, and we're just going to create our own black screen. So tap on new background, paintbrush, and we're just simply going to make that black. With that, we're going to also create another black background. So we're getting rid of the cat sprite again, and we're going to go back near ABC, and we're just going to choose another black background. So select new, paintbrush, and make sure we've got the paint bucket selected with black, and we're just going to keep it like that. Give that a tick. So we're going to be adding sprites. Before we do that, I might just get you to go to the second slide by tapping on it, and we're just going to do ABC, and we're going to type, we're going to select white, and probably make it a little bit bigger by tapping on the letter A. I might just make it medium, and I'm just going to write game over. Game over. Whoop. And okay, we can move that anywhere we like. For the third one, if we tap on the third one, we're going to include the sprite that we created from previous times, which will be the you win down here. However, we're going to modify it. So if we go into paintbrush, we can make I'll attempt to make it, no, not going to happen. I'll just make the inside black, and then I'm going to rewrite you win. So going to select something a little bit thicker, white paint of course, and we're going to go you, as neatly as you can. I'm just doing this really quickly just to show you. Okay, so that's going to be our sprite. If we go back to the first one, we're going to create a couple of ghosts. So we want our game over to be a little bit more exciting than what it has been in the past. So we're going to select a new sprite, paintbrush, and might make it a little bit thinner. Do a red one first. So I've got the drawing tool selected on the left, and I'm going to just draw an arch, and 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we'll fill that in. Using the circle drawer, I'm going to try and draw 2 eyes. And I'm going to fill them in. And then I'm going to draw the pupils. So reselecting the circle maker, and usually the ghosts are looking down, so I'm just going to try and make mine looking down and just fill that in. So I'm going to select that and just arrange it. I'm going to select a new sprite again. I'm going to select the same one that I just created of the ghost, but we're going to hit paintbrush and select a new color. So I'm going to make this next one orange. The next one after that, I'm going to select it again and paintbrush and make that one green. And the final one I'm going to do is pink. So I'll select the one that I just made, paintbrush, and we'll make that one pink. So I might just select this pink one there. Perfect. Looks more like magenta actually. Now for the coding. So with the red one, on start, I want it to go up in a loop. With the orange one next to it, I'm going to make that one go down. So on start, it's going to go down in a loop. The green one, that will go up, just like the red one. So I'm just going to make that one go up, and that one can go in a loop. And the final one, the pink one, that one will be moving down on start. With the third screen, I'm going to do on start. I'm just going to get it to move across the screen to the right, and that can just be in a continuous loop. Okay, so both our pages are done. Now this is going to be the tricky part. So we've got lots of sprites involved in this today. So we're going to start off with the first sprite. So we're going to create the box maker. We can just make it black, and we're just going to draw one of our sprites, and we're going to make that green. Oops. Undo. I forgot to select the paint tin. There we go. So that's green. I'm going to select a new one now. I'm going to select the one that I just made, and I'm going to hit tick because we're going to make a box out of the green ones. This one we're definitely going to hit paintbrush, and we're going to use the rotation tool to rotate it around. Just up there, and I'm going to do this, select the same one. For inside, I'm going to have a smaller one. So create new, paintbrush, box maker, and I'm going to make it black. And we're just going to draw a little one. So it's a bit like a little barrier that PacMan needs to go around. And I'll make that orange, a brighter orange this time. So selecting the orange color and the paint bucket. And we need 4 of those, so I'm just going to add that another 3 times. Sorry if I'm going a bit fast for you. This tutorial is designed so that you can pause at any time and work at your own pace. So I'm just going to arrange them together. That you can move them around once you start coding. We just need one more in the middle. So I'm going to create a new one, create a new one, paintbrush, and select the box maker, black, and this time I'm going to make a little horizontal one, not as long as all the others, probably like that, and paint bucket, and this one's going to be made blue. Okay, I'm just going to put the blue one in the middle there. Okay, so there's 17 sprites all together in this in this program. Now I'm just going to go through and find the arrows that we've created in the past. So just going to select the red one for up. We'll do it in the same order like we always do to save confusion. The yellow one. The next one will be green, facing down. And the one after that will be the blue one. Facing towards the right. Okay, we'll just arrange those as neatly as we can. That's looking okay. Whoop. Up. If you fiddle too much, sometimes the sprites think you want to delete them. That should do. Now we've got a new sprite that we need to create. Paintbrush, and we're going to select the circle tool. This is going to be PacMan. So we're just going to draw a little one. If we keep it small, then we don't need to shrink it to size later on, which will stop a lot of glitching at the beginning. Paint bucket, fill that in. If you want, you can always do the pinch action, but the opposite way to zoom the screen in. We're going to select the drawing tool and black, and this time we're going to do PacMan's mouth. So we're just going to try and fill that in the best way we can. If that little piece of yellow is bothering you, you can always just fill it in with the drawing tool the best way you can. I might try that again. It's always good to retry if it's not looking the best. Just do it as neatly as you can. Try it again. It's always good to take your time with this. You don't want it to be too much jutting out at once, because it might interfere with sprites later on, and that could cause a bit of problems. One more time for good luck. Okay, that's just going to have to do. With the circle, I'm sure you can spend a little bit more time on yours. Whoop. I'll make that really thin. And that's going to be PacMan's eye. And we'll fill that in. Okay. That's little PacMan there. We can move him down in the corner. And now we need a couple of ghosts. So we're not going to use the ones that we created for the second page. We're going to create smaller ones. Again, I found that there was a lot of glitching when we had larger sprites to begin with. By the time it shrinks down, it ends up touching other sprites and ends up going to the game over page straight away. So we're just going to select the drawing tool, and we're just going to draw a tiny ghost. And we're going to fill that in. Again, you can always zoom in when it's time to do the eyes. So we're going to select the circle tool and white. Nope. There's one, and here's the other one. Okay, I'm sure your ones will look better than mine. My apologies. The other one's eyes not looking great, but that's okay. That's fine by me. So we can pop that here, and then we can create a green one. So we can tap on the red one like we have just made, paintbrush, and we can just make that one green. Paint bucket, green, and voila. And we'll put that one up here. Okay, As far as I know, there's probably 2 more sprites that we need to collect. They're going to be the pink dots. So the pink dot that we had for one of our is our epic maze game that we created. I'm just going to have the tick there. So that's going to be the first one. I'm just going to put the first one there, and then we're going to have the second one. So second one, select it again, tick, and we're going to put that one up in the top right corner. Okay, it's time to code. So going back through to the top one, we're going to make that bigger. So on start, we're going to select the enlarge code, and we're going to make it 15. And then we'll put a stop to it. So with that, I can drag it to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And I'm going to do it to all the walls. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So before we start coding, I'm just going to see if they all go to size. Now that they're large enough, I can rearrange them to make them a little bit more user-friendly. Move that dot there, and we're going to spread these out a little bit more. It's always good to neaten things up as you go. Move this one down, and this ghost can start here, and this ghost can start here, and PacMan can start there. Alright, I think that's good enough for me. Alright, so if we start it again, yep, the borders look fine. From my experience, this seems to probably work better on an Android device. At the moment I'm using an iPad. Okay, we're going to start coding our arrows. So when you touch the sprite, it's going to send a red message. And we're just going to put an end to that. Now with this code, if we move our sprite menu up a little bit further, we can then pop this into each one and then change the color to correspond with the arrow. So this one's going to be yellow. If we tap on green, we're going to change this one to green, and if we tap on the blue, we're going to change that one to blue. Okay, PacMan, he's going to receive all these messages. So I'm just going to put all these codes in bulk. Now we're going to do the red. The next one was yellow. The one after that was green. And the final one was blue. So whenever it receives a red message, it's going to move up. And every time it receives a yellow message, it's going to move to the left. Whenever it receives a green message, it's going to move down. And whenever it receives a blue message, it's going to move to the right. And then we're just going to put an end to all of those so that it only happens once. Okay, now we've got the ghost to still code, and also the pink dots. So we want the monster, the red one, to move up and down in the column that it's in. So we're going to say on start, it's going to go up, we'll say 5, and it's going to go back down 5. And we're just going to put that into a loop. However, if PacMan does come across this ghost, then it's going to be game over. So if it touches another sprite, it's going to go to the second page. Now for our green one, so on start, we want it to start moving right and left of the screen. So it's going to go to the right first. We could give that about 4, and then it can move back to the left again, about 4 spaces, and it can just continually do that. Now, if you want it to go a little bit slower, you can. So if we move it along, we can go into the orange category and select a speed on how fast we want it to go. So I might make it just go medium. Make sure that's all connected together. If it does touch another sprite, for example, or more specifically the PacMan, then it's going to be game over. Okay, so we've got a bit of branching there happening. So we've got the first dot. The first dot, when PacMan collects it, it's going to send an orange message. And then it's going to disappear. And we'll just put an end. When we press start, our second dot, you can see highlighted in the white circle, we're going to get that to disappear so the player doesn't know where to find it to begin with. I'm going to put an end to that. Then when it receives an orange message from its friend after it's been collected, it's going to appear. And then when it's touched by another sprite, so when PacMan touches it, we're going to delay it by 10 seconds so that it can disappear and then finish up with the you win page. I'll move that along a bit so you can see it better. It's good to have your codes nicely set up so that you can easily go through it later on to find any bugs. And let's give that a go. So we can start off with the small screen. We can see that they're moving along. In fact, I might even extend their travel distance for the ghost to make it more tricky. So I'm going to make the green one, if I stop it, I'm going to make the green one move about 5 paces. And then I might even make this one move about 7. Let's give it a go. It's important not to get the red ghost to bump into the pink one. We can get away with maybe getting it to do about 8 paces. Now you'll just have to adjust yours to whatever one by doing trial and error. If it does touch the pink dot, it's definitely going to create that reaction of going to the game over page. Yep, I seem to be quite happy with that. Okay, let's try the big screen. So I'm just going to tap along, test it out. So PacMan's collected that. And if it goes with the ghost, oh, That's pretty cool. Let's test if it gets... Oh, there we are. Game over. So if we stop it, we can go back to the beginning. So if we press start, everything's back at the beginning again. And if we move... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. If we go along and collect... You could make it more challenging by adding more ghosts if you wish. There we go. I also found that it could be made better if we actually made those sprites of the walls. But I found that there was a lot of glitches. Let's just do an example. So maybe the first one. You could add... if another sprite did touch it, that it would go back to the beginning. Maybe. I'm not too sure if that will work. Okay, no, so it needs to send a message. If it touched another sprite, it would need to send maybe a purple message. And that's when PacMan will need to receive that purple message. So if I go back to PacMan, receiving a purple message would make him go back to the beginning. And let's just give that a go. Let's see what happens. I just found that there was a lot of glitching. Yeah, so that's what the idea is, to make so whenever he does touch a wall, that would happen. I just found that there was a lot of glitching with just so many codes and sprites involved in the game. So if it was done on an Android device, it may be powerful enough to handle this many codes. But it's pretty good for now. Ooh. Okay, well, have fun, be as creative as you want to be, add as many ghosts as you like. Good luck with